Hello and welcome back. We are still empowering ourselves through finding our voice to being victoriously outspoken, initiating corrective environments, having a voice, being able to speak and say what you need in the time that you need to say it. One of the things when we talked about last time, we talked about how having the hard conversations is never easy. And I told you that one of the things I say all the time is that we are not friends. I don't consider a person a friend until we have fallen out, until I have gotten on your nerve, because people with a voice will get on your nerve. That's why many of you have given up your voice, because we want to be well liked. We want to be looked at in a favorable light, and we want people to really, to really like us and say good things about us. Everybody wants that. I don't care who you are. One of the things about me is that because I had a voice and because I would speak up, people always assumed that I didn't care what they thought. And you would be surprised in that because they thought I didn't care, people would go out of their way to show me how much they liked or what they thought about me. It's really crazy. Just look at it. I want you to start looking at the patterns in your own life. Because remember, this is not a judgment. This is not anybody watching. This is about you being honest with you about your voice and finding your voice. So nobody's going to go back. It's not homework. You don't have to get on here and report it. But I want you to take the videos and I want you to look at them and think about where you need your voice, where you have your voice and where you don't have your voice. So with friends, if we can't fall out and then get back together or be like, okay, we got past it, I don't consider you a friend, because friend is a very serious word. Like I said, when I was younger, I was like, everybody's my friend. Since then, I have grown up and I realized that friendship is something not to be taken lightly. It is something that you must treasure, and you only want people in your life that value it the same way you do. So having hard conversations is really crucial, because if you are not able to say the things that matter, excuse me, for fear of being disliked or treated differently, you're in a prison. You're in a hole. You're in a chokehold. So every time you are around those people, every time you are with those people, you are really pretending, because you're really having to watch, to censor, and monitor who you are and what you say. So they're never, ever really getting the full you. They're only getting the part of you that says you like everything. And anybody who's smart, who knows anything, knows that, okay, if a person never has anything to say that is counter, let me see, I want to say it. If they never have anything challenging to say, sometimes we use the word negative. And just because somebody doesn't agree with you doesn't mean it's negative. People who feel like we got to have the same opinion and think the same way, and there's only one way, and if you don't think that way, it's negative, those are small-minded people. Because 2 or 3 things can all be true. You can love somebody, you can want the best for somebody, and you can try to be there for a person, and you can also let that person go. And all 4 of those things can be true. You can still love them. You can still want the best for them. You could have been there as much as you can, and then realize that you are not helping and they are not growing, and have to let them go, and you still love them. I know a lot of people who think, oh my gosh, if you're there, you got to just ride it and ride it and ride it. But there are different things that you do in different seasons with people. When you see one thing is not working, you go to something else. It's the same way parents do with their children. There comes a time where people realize, okay, I've gone as far as I can go. I've got to release the reins. I got to kind of let you go. It's funny how people will do that with their children and then feel guilty to do it to a friend, to somebody that you're just acquaintance with, or not even somebody you're involved with. I'm not talking about a husband or a wife. I'm talking about just friends, just people that you're trying to do business with. So remember that you are not locked in to have to feel a certain way. Nobody can make you feel a certain way. You don't allow people to make you accept things that you don't like. We can discuss it. As a matter of fact, it is healthy to have friends with a difference of opinion. It's how you grow. If people, once again, if you're around a crowd that's like, yeah, I think the same thing, yeah, on everything, you know you are around a group of liars, because nobody thinks the same way on everything. Sometimes we have different views. If you're in a family member, there are going to be times where one family member is feeling this way, the next one is feeling another way. That's what makes us family, because it's like at a point where one person may tap out, the next one can tap in, and it goes down the line. This is about your authentic voice. It's about you being victoriously outspoken. It's about, and I don't mean just, and notice how in voice I say victoriously outspoken, and we'll talk about that in the next video, because it's important to be victorious. But as we talk about the hard conversations, remember, think about what it is you want to accomplish. Now, like I say all the time, you can't change how people think. There are going to be some people who will receive, no matter how nice you say something, they want to receive it wrong because they do not want correction. They want to always be right. There will be those people who are embarrassed that they've mistreated you. And rather than own up to what they've done, they would rather make you feel bad. Remember, you're changing, right? You didn't have a voice before. You're gaining. There will be people who will try to make you feel guilty about the voice that you are gaining. You have got to be ready for that, and you've got to make sure within yourself that when you speak, that you are clear, that you're speaking in turn, that you're speaking in love, and that you are effectively communicating what you want to say. As long as you do those things, then you have to let it go, and you have to let people be people. Like I said, there'll be people who will try to punish you. There will be people who will try to make you feel guilty and feel bad about having your own voice. And those people cannot be for you. There is no way that somebody will want you just to suffer in silence. That the only way we can walk together is that we totally are in sync with everything. When the Bible says, how can two walk together except they agree, doesn't mean that one person, that they don't have a mind. It means that they have come together to agree to go in the same direction. That's why the Bible says the two shall become one. And every day in a marriage, those two people have to wake up saying, we want to continue in the marriage. They do not wake up every day thinking the same. They don't wake up talking the same. They agree to go in the same direction, and sometimes in going that way, there is compromise. But guess what? Both of those people still have a voice if it's a healthy marriage. Both of those people learn to respect the voice of one another if it's a healthy marriage. And nobody feels like they have to sacrifice their voice. There are going to be times when you have to agree to disagree, with friends, with family, with spouses, and then you figure out a way to go forward. If you have too many topics where you have to agree to disagree, then you got to sit down and revisit your values. Because sometimes we're agreeing to disagree just to shut the other person up. That's not a real agree to disagree. If you're unable to hear other people, then you're using your voice. Your voice is not shutting other people out. It is being clear about your thoughts, that you can communicate them, and also being fair enough and honest enough and open enough to hear somebody else's. Because remember, your voice is going to be victorious. You want to be able to speak out, but you want to create corrective and creative environments. And only in those kind of environments can you grow as an individual. We're still talking about voice. It's been your girl. I'm the queen bee of doing business better, but I'm also somebody who loves and wants to see you grow.